On this episode of Wildlife Journal, we'll ride with wranglers and run with wolves as we cover the varied terrain of the American West. From Wyoming to Arizona and Montana to New Mexico, we'll fight fire and meet up with some real monsters. It's like a scene out of an old Western. Bureau of Land Management wranglers thunder across the plains of Wyoming as they round up wild mustangs. Herding the horses by helicopter and on horseback, the action's fast and the dust is flying. And hearing the haunting howl of the wolf is becoming more and more common in Idaho as the gray wolf is reintroduced to the area and cared for by a Native American tribe who lives there. We'll also get up close to a real-life monster. A Gila monster, that is. Their colorful beaded bodies makes you want to take a better look, but their loud hiss and quick strike should warn anyone to stand back. All of that and much, much more is coming your way right now. Wildlife Journal. Around the world and close to home, wildlife and their habitats are threatened by forces that can harm or even destroy them. And important battles are being fought every day. Come along as we explore the exciting and often dangerous adventures of those charged with caring for our planet's wildlife and the places they live. They say there were 2 million wild mustangs on the range at the turn of the last century. But the dry western lands couldn't support both herds of cattle and wild horses, so many ranchers shot the mustangs on sight. By 1970, there were fewer than 17,000. So in 1971, the United States Congress passed the Wild Horse and Burro Act to protect these animals. Now the Bureau of Land Management maintains a balance between Mustang rights to the range and ranchers' needs for grassland to feed their cattle. When Mustang populations get too high, the BLM wranglers will gather some up for adoption by horse lovers around the country. We'll take you on a roundup in Wyoming and then to an adoption in Lexington, Kentucky.
Sonny Vance.
In 1971, Congress passed a law that was designed to preserve and protect wild horses on the range. And the context of the preserve and protect is that we define a thriving natural ecological balance. And that balance is based on the vegetation, the other animals that have to share the habitat. We have to go out there, monitor the populations, monitor the vegetation. And once we identify that there's excess animals, we'll move in with our operation, which is made up of wranglers and wild horse specialists. You got to understand, when we're going in to catch wild animals, we're playing on their home court. They know the country a lot better than we do. That's why we use helicopters and things.
Every year, everybody needs to be reminded, stay away from the helicopter, basically.
We have to balance out the chase and make sure that we can get the animals without endangering them or without endangering our wranglers.
The wranglers begin work with the Pradas, or decoy horses, which are being trained to lead the Mustangs into the corral.
Let's put a better lead rope on that. First run will take them both out. Maybe they'll get the idea then. Maybe I'll go a little bit farther out and just let him see Dick's horse. I get kind of between you and the wild horses.
And then if you can hold him just a little longer and let him come through them.
Come through the wild
horses. That makes
horses.
a big difference. We run two, and we usually hold one just a little longer
Yep.
together.
That's what we've always done.
Yeah.
The Pradas are a pair of horses that have formed a strong bond with one another. After being led to the top of the trap, they're chased by the wranglers down and into the corral, just so they know the way home.
Okay, partner, let's tie you up. Get your buddy. See how your buddy wants to.
Now only one horse will be taken back. The other is tied to the corral and will be an attraction to its friend. The helicopter will herd the Mustangs down from the mountains and across the range, sometimes chasing them for 10 or 15 miles before getting them to the head of the track. There, the Prada horse will be released to run to its friend back at the corral. The Mustangs, tired from being chased, will also be confused. So when the Prada horse takes the lead, the Mustangs will follow, with the BLM Wranglers chasing the thundering herd all the way home.
Horse wrangling is it's an art. These fellas that are wranglers in the Bureau are excellent horsemen, excellent ropers. They're compassionate. You gotta be. Most of these people have grown up on ranches, cowboyed most of their life, and they enjoy their work.
You have to really, really like the animals. You couldn't stay in this business and do it as many years as all of us have on the gathering crew and the corral crew if you didn't really, really like these animals. And that's kind of why I do it. After the gathering crew catches the horses, they bring them in to our corrals here at Rock Springs, and we leave them set overnight and settle down quite a bit. And then in the morning, we have a vet come out and we get our vaccine, wormer all ready to go, and our freeze branding materials, and try to keep them kind of calm and clip them and brand them and try to keep them healthy. We're trying to do it right, get everything in and out safely and get them adopted to the public.
One adoption site is the Kentucky Horse Park in Lexington, where any individual who meets the BLM requirements of having a proper stable and fencing can adopt as many as 4 Mustangs a year for a very nominal fee.
The second pick is 1326, I think.
The BLM will check up on the adopted horses several times, making sure they're getting the proper food, stabling, and health care. Then, after a year, the papers are signed over to the adopters.
Calling Big John?
Yeah, Big John.
Big John. He looks like a Big John to me.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Number 1 is Sonny Vance.
A drawing is held to determine the order of adoption. The lower the number, the better the chance of getting the horse you want.
Number 5, James Richardson.
It looks like this lucky family will get the horse they came to adopt.
Number 6, Jackie Rankin.
Okay, well, I'm going to take these folks out and get their horse. Okay.
Horses.
Let me scratch him off the pen sheet so that everybody knows he's gone. And he's right there. Sorrel stud.
When you look at a piece of country and you deal with it as an ecosystem, and you include human beings as part of that ecosystem, that starts to give you a sense of where we fit as a species or as an individual, what influences we can have, whether they're positive or negative. That's been very enlightening, very enlightening.
The Bureau of Land Management Wranglers sure have what it takes to do a difficult and dangerous job. So do the BLM adoption specialists. Both groups make sure there's a happy ending by rounding up Mustangs to place in the good homes and then making sure they're being cared for properly. You can learn more about the wild Mustang adoption process by contacting the Bureau of Land Management. This Wildlife Journal entry is a natural fact. Mustangs were brought to the New World by the Spanish in the 1500s. And surprisingly, when these Spanish conquistadors landed on the American continent, the horse had been extinct on the continent for some 10,000 years. The word Mustang comes from Spanish words meaning ownerless or stray horse. Today, the Mustang's name has become synonymous with words like untamed and wild. These amazing animals remain true spirits of the American West.
Quite a bit different than the other 3 bats.
Don't miss the next Wildlife Journal adventure. It's coming right up, and, well, we can't promise it won't drive you batty.